Well, it looks like Casey Anthony is back in the headlines. This time, it looks like the tables have turned just a bit, and she's actually reaching out to the police this time when she has a problem. She called the police to file an incident report over being doused with a drink during a verbal altercation at a bar in West Palm Beach, Florida, the bar called O'Shea's. This is an Irish pub. This happened on May the 24th, 2021. The altercation was over a guy. This guy was an ex-boyfriend of Casey's, and ironically enough, he is actually a sergeant at Palm Beach Police Department. Imagine that. And it.
Hi. Can I file an incident report? Sure, what happened? So I'm still wet. I got a drink thrown at me. This girl has been harassing me for a while. I have her cell phone number. If that helps. Do you know her name? Her name is Thelma Moya. Thelma Magali Moya. She goes by Thelma Moya. Yeah.
Okay. And what happened?
She verbally assaulted me, but physically assaulted me with witnesses. I'm still damp from the drink she threw at me.
And why did she throw a drink at you?
We had a verbal altercation outside.
Outside over there?
Yeah.
And elaborate, like what happened?
We dated the same person for a couple of years. Malcolm Allison, who was with your department, one of your sergeants. Whether they're together or not together, she got upset that he had texted me. I let her know that he had, and she came inside and threw a drink at me.
Hey, do you have your ID with you?
Yes, I do.
Are you with him?
No, he was one of the witnesses. Eli, all of these people were witnesses, unfortunately.
Go get him, Tiger. Let's do it, baby.
I try not to make a big deal of things, but she's been a problem in my life for 3 years.
Have you tried?
I've changed my phone number. She's moved near me. She has changed my phone number. It's been a repeated problem for several years. So this is the last.
Have you tried doing a restraining order?
No, this is the last one.
Yes,
I have a witness to someone throwing a drink at me that I'm still wearing. I have several witnesses. I apologize. I asked for a non-emergency, but
what's your phone number? And what's the lady's name?
her last name is Moya, M-O-Y-A. First name is Thelma, T-H-E-L-M-A. It's also Thelma, T-E-L-M-A. Middle name is Magali, M-A-L.
And what's
G-A-L-I.
Do you know her date of birth?
Her date of birth is 5/26/1994.
I just made you walk for nothing. Because I was gonna take it.
You're good. I apologize.
I was gonna take it.
No.
But you gave me an attitude.
I apologize. I said non-emergency. I swear, I said non-emergency. I said an incident report, non-emergency.
It's my
No,
fault.
I apologize.
I love you.
Her date of birth is 5/26/1994.
And you know her number, you said?
It's just 1 second. I hate to say it, Malcolm Allison, who's one of your sergeants, would be able to confirm her information. I don't want to get him involved. He's my ex, he's her ex. That's why all of this happened.
Oh, okay. And
But honey, you can feel
what's her number? What's her number?
It's 5. And I don't know. I think that's what it is. I apologize.
You don't have it saved or anything?
I can send it back to you. If you can give me an incident report number, I can send it to you.
So you just need an incident report?
Yeah.
Give me one second.
If you can send that to me, I can send it to you.
I'll
That
give
would
you
be no
a case
problem.
card.
Yeah, no, I have it saved for stuff like this.
93337.
Thank you.
Again, I apologize. I said non-emergency. Her friend was here. Several people that I've known for years are here as witnesses, if necessary. So I'm not trying to file a restraining order. I just wanted to stop. And I know a restraining order at most is good for 6 months, and it can go away. Right?
Well, we'll document the incident that happened, and I'll put it as verbal threats because you said that she keeps coming
No,
to
and you can tell she threw a drink at me.
But you
Yeah.
should definitely, if you're being going through this, you're gonna follow up on it, so we can
I know
do
you
something.
didn't talk to me, but that girl came in and just fucking
No, I have multiple witnesses.
here and like,
Thank you.
she did nothing. This girl just came in and
Just enjoy your day, okay? Enjoy your
I
night.
know, that's why I called non-emergency. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
It appeared that Moya wasn't arrested, and it even appears she wasn't even at the bar when the cops got there. Casey's manager said she's not going to be pressing charges against her. She's actually described as being one of Casey's former best friends. So here's the thing, it took her 31 days to report her 2-year-old daughter missing. But it took her less than 31 seconds to call the police when someone throws a drink on her lap. She wanted to make sure that this non-emergency drink that was thrown on her, that got documented immediately. But, as we remember, she made no effort to ever document her child missing without her mother pushing her to do so, and that was 31 days after she went missing. Here, she is bragging about the sergeant being her ex, and he was what the argument was about to begin with. She also kept repeating that she had witnesses. Witnesses seen this happen. It's just too bad that little Kaylee didn't have any witnesses that came forward to her defense to say what happened, although we can all rest assured that there is some out there. And if they had, little Miss Can't Be Wrong would not have to worry about being doused with a drink in a bar over a fight with an ex that happens to be a cop. No, she would be getting a hell of a lot more than that thrown at her in prison. She should have actually had the book thrown at her, in my opinion. If you're not very familiar with Casey's case, I'll give you a quick little rundown on it. You can always Google her name. You can find her story everywhere, but I'll just do a quick little rundown on it. Her daughter, 2-year-old Kaylee, was last seen on June the 16th, 2008. But Casey did not report that her daughter was missing until July the 15th, when her mother demanded it. Casey later on was arrested on child neglect charges. Little Kaylee's remains were found and identified in December. By that point, Casey had been charged with first-degree murder, aggravated manslaughter, and aggravated child abuse. During the trial, it was questioned if Kaylee's death was an accident, leading Casey to panic and try to cover for it, or whether Kaylee was intentionally murdered by her mother. 12 jurors, which consisted of 7 women and 5 men, 2 months, were hidden out in an unknown hotel. They sat through 33 days of testimony. They examined more than 400 pieces of evidence, and they heard 91 witnesses testify. This all happened from May to July of 2011. At the end of it, the jurors declared that Casey was not guilty of murder, manslaughter, and abuse charges, but she was guilty of 4 misdemeanor accounts of lying to police, 2 of which were dropped. She was sentenced to 4 years in prison, but she was released just 2 weeks later in July of 2011. This was due to credit for time served. After release, she was seen just hours later drinking a Corona beer as she got off of a private jet in Florida. So many people were outraged, disgusted, and in disbelief when Casey, who is now 35, walked free after the high-profile trial caught international attention. A number of jurors previously said that they opted for not guilty after all of their deliberations only because the state could not prove how little Kaylee died. The jurors have kept a low profile since this controversial verdict, many of them moving from the area after they were publicly named. Most of them have refused to give interviews. Casey's notorious murder case will soon be revisited in the Lifetime series called Cellmate Secrets. The series debuts on Friday, June the 4th at 10 p.m. on Lifetime. Besides working as a researcher today, Casey tried to start her own photography business in 2016. She named it Case Photography LLC, but she was receiving very few photo inquiries and more questions about the trial, so that business plan fizzled out. As of 2017, Anthony was still living in West Palm Beach, Florida with Patrick McKenna. He is a private detective who worked as the lead investigator on her case, McKenna Investigation, since the mid-1980s. He lists famous celebrities as his clients, from John Lennon's former wife Yoko Ono to Kennedy family member William Kennedy Smith and even O.J. Simpson. Patrick was actually the one who found the audio tapes of a Los Angeles cop, Mark Furman, on a racist ramp, and that is what helped weaken the prosecution against O.J. Casey has been living in the home belonging to Patrick ever since she was released from jail in July of 2011. Then in October of 2018, a friend of Casey said Casey wanted more kids. The friend says for a long time, Casey was like, no way. But time has changed that, and she now is open to it in a way that she has never been before. Casey's father, George Anthony, expressed that thought made him very nervous. Knowing that she could potentially be a mom again, he says, I hope she does better this time around than she did last time. George has insisted for years that Casey knows what happened to Kaylee. Casey's mom, Cindy, won't go so far as to believe that it was a murder, but she does believe that her daughter could have been accidentally responsible for the toddler's death. And though she seems to still love Casey, George says that his relationship with her is over. I don't want to see her. I don't want to talk to her. I've always said that I would never talk to my daughter again. Actually, I lost my daughter and granddaughter in 2008. In June of 2019, Casey announced she was working on a film about her life after the death of her daughter. She said, yeah, I drank, and carried on like nothing happened. The movie is called As I Was Told, because I'd done what I was told to do. I had put on a fake persona throughout those whole 31 days. That is what Casey said about what you can expect to see in her movie. However, the movie just hadn't really gotten off the ground yet, as it said, in September of 2020. And then the coronavirus became a thing and stopped any momentum that the film had. It's effectively dead. After years of trying to stay out of the public eye, Casey was spotted back on the scene for the first time in 2019. She believes she's done her time, another friend said that was close to Casey. And now, she's partying, she's dating around, meeting new people, and finally creating a social life. Casey is trying to mingle once again, but she isn't ready to settle down. Casey began dating a man a couple of years ago, but things fizzled out, and that's not what she's looking for now. Another source that was close to Casey said in March of 2020 that Casey is writing a very detailed account of her life and the tragedy of losing Kaylee and everything that followed. She knows the book's going to be controversial, and no matter what she does, she's going to face criticism, but she also feels like she has a story that has never been told. Nobody else has lived it, so no one else can tell it. Then in December of 2020, Casey launched a private investigation firm in Florida. Paperwork for a new company titled Case Research and Consulting Services, LLC. It was filed with the Florida Division of Corporation under her name on December the 14th, 2020. When asked in January 2021 if she wants to investigate the 2008 death of her 2-year-old daughter, Casey said, "That is a closed chapter in my life. I am not starting a company to get answers for Kaylee, no." A friend close to Casey said, "Casey wants to help other people who are facing serious legal charges. She knows what it's like to be accused of something that she didn't do. She just wants to help other wrongfully accused people, especially women, and help them to get justice." One of the male jurors spoke out on May the 20th, 2021, about how his decision to acquit Casey still impacted him 10 years later. "I think now, if I were to do it over again, I'd push harder to convict her of one of the lesser charges like aggravated manslaughter. At least that, or child abuse. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and I didn't stand up for what I believed in at the time." Also saying at the time the jurors were focused on the case and the attorneys. This juror said that he found the prosecutors to be very arrogant, while Casey's lead defense attorney was the only one in the room who seemed like he cared. "I think of the case at least once every single day," said this unidentified male juror. "It was such a strange summer. I knew that there was public interest in this case, but it wasn't until after I was sequestered that I realized that the whole world was watching." The former juror went on to say, "Every time I see her face or hear her name, I get this pit in my stomach. It all comes flooding back. I think about those pictures of that baby's remains that they showed us in court. I remember Casey. I even remember the smell of the courtroom. I think now, if I were to do it all over again, I'd push harder to convict her of one of the lesser charges. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I remember feeling sick every time I saw one of those jurors' names on my phone, so I muted the chat and I stopped engaging. It was just too hard. At the time that the enormity of the acquittal bothered us all in the jury room, and then we just sat there for a few minutes and we were like, holy crap, we are letting her go free." Everyone was just stunned at what we were about to do. One of the woman jurors even asked me, "Are you okay with this?" And I said, "Hell no, but what else can we do? We promised to follow the law." Despite it all, this juror says that he did not completely regret his time on the jury. He says it's traumatic to think about it, and I wish I had done a lot of things differently. But it's a part of who I am. This case will stick with me for the rest of my life. That is just a little rundown. There's reasons why her father completely refuses to speak to her again, due to the allegations that Casey and her attorney brought out in the court, that her dad actually essayed her as a child. I'm sure many of you, and probably all of you, are very familiar with this case. But what really burns me up is that she was so quick to jump when something was done wrong to her. Kaylee was last seen on June the 16th of 2008. Her trial started in May of 2011, a decade after she's calling about someone dousing water in her lap, but she never called to report her own child missing. Come on, guys. Is there seriously anyone? Because I've never met one person yet, not one, that truly believes Casey was innocent. Casey knew nothing about what happened to her daughter. Casey covered up nothing about Kaylee. Is there truly one person out there that believes that? In the comments below. Thank you all for listening. Have a great day, night, evening, wherever you may be. And until next time, this is Unjustified.